All right, I just bought this today. It's got a 50-inch deck on it. It's a Cub Cadet RZT, which means residential zero-turn mower. And this is the third Cub Cadet I've had. And as you can see, this deck's pretty rough here too. And it's also not very thick gauge steel, but for what I'm planning to use it for, it'll be just fine. I can patch those holes in it and plan to do that, and then plan to paint it as well. But I feel I got a really good deal on this thing. The engine runs strong. It's got a Kawasaki engine on it, 22 horsepower. I've never had one that was a Kawasaki before. Both of them that I had before were Kohler engines. One was a 24, the other one was a 24 and a half, I believe. Actually, they maybe both were 24. I had a 24 and a half X mark. The battery is bad on it. I'll have to replace that. I'm showing under the seat here, and that's where you can get your model number and all of that for when you need to get parts. There's the PTO switch, which engages the blades, the key, the engine itself, the muffler. It's kind of in rough shape too, and they are easy to ding up or anything if you lift the front up to do maintenance on your blades. There's the hydro gears right there, and those are very important to make sure those work. That's what turns your zero turn left or right, and they're very expensive too. I mean, they're probably around $800. So there's a PTO clutch as well. You got your drive belt up top, your deck belt down below. But the hydro gear, that thing on the right there, the silver thing, that's very important to make sure those work if you're trying to get a used zero turn. There's the fuel pump there, and I don't know what's happened there. It's not bolted up for some reason. They've kind of just got it hanging there. But it works as it should and everything. I got this mower for very cheap. I bought it today for $460, which for a zero turn with a 50-inch deck and a 22 horsepower engine is a very good deal as long as it functions, and it does. It mows great, actually, and I'll show that here in a little bit. There's the fuel filter there, fuel line. Here's the oil filter here, very easy to change and get to. There's the dipstick, the gas tank over here. All the tires hold air on this mower. It mows good. It runs good. One thing I've noticed with it is when I go to back up, for some reason, it's like the PTO switch or something has a short in the wiring. The blades every now and then will kick off when I back up. So I tried to just stay going forward when I used it. Here's the gas tank on it. And they have pretty good sized gas tanks on them. I'm not sure exactly how many gallons it holds. I think 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3 gallons, which is quite a bit of gas. I mean, I can do this whole yard here. Where we live, which is 2.5 acres, with that on one tank, and still have some left, if I'm not mistaken. But for the price that I gave for this mower, I got a steal on it. Honestly, I believe it. I won't say a steal, you know what I mean. I got a really good deal on it. And there's the throttle switch right there. The last Cub Cadets I had, if I'm not mistaken, to choke it, you just put the throttle switch all the way up. But this one actually has its own choke on it. And as I said, the only issues I've seen with this mower so far is, as I said, when I go to back up, the blades will try to every now and then disengage, but then as soon as I go forward, they'll engage again, which is over time is bad because it's going to put wear and tear on your deck belt. There's how you lift and lower the deck there. And as I said, it's a 50-inch deck, which is pretty good size mower. And the engine, they're almost like little bush hogs, really, in a way. I've mown so many big overgrown lawns with those little Cub Cadets. 620 hours on it is what it's got on it. One of them that I also had 800 hours, and the motor's still going, so I know they go for a long time. If I'm not mistaken, some of them go 2,000 hours and more. The seat's in decent shape. I've seen a lot worse. It's not to where it's going to be uncomfortable or anything like that. The levers there, you can tell that's definitely been used. This mower's a 2006, so it's definitely got hours on it. Those Kawasaki engines are supposed to be really good engines, though. Never had one, so I'm excited to try it out. It's twin cylinder, and that's why you've seen a spark plug on each side. It's a twin cylinder engine, which all of them that I've had are. So this is the third Cub Cadet zero turn that I've owned, and one had a 54-inch deck with a 24 horsepower engine. It was a fabricated deck as well, which is welded and a lot thicker gauge than this deck here. This is what they call a stamped deck, which is kind of rounded over. And like if you hit posts and trees and stuff like that with them, they dent in a little easier, but they're very tough too. There's a grease fitting right there so that you can grease that up. I was checking out the spindles on it, and they actually look, the pulleys, they kind of look new. See that bolt on top there? It looks like he's changed those recently. I was noticing that, and they're not cheap either. I think I've maybe paid $80 or something for one of them, and they have, I think, 3 on them, like that one there. So they're not cheap. There's the other hydro gear there. If I'm not mistaken, I just got a glimpse of that. It looked like the other hydro gear. And as I said, that's very important. Even the engine runs and everything, if those hydro gears don't work good, once one of those sides goes out, you can't turn your mower anymore. You can just go in circles. And there's how you raise and lower the deck, or level your deck, really, which it does raise and lower it. But you turn those nuts right there. It's got 2 nuts, and that'll raise the front of it. So what that's really for is to level your deck, so you have a level cut when you cut the lawn. And this one seems to be really good. I cut with it today, and the yard I'm very happy with this. I told my wife after I used this mower, I said, that's probably the best deal I've ever got on a zero turn for what I paid for it. I've never paid that little for a zero turn. All the mowers I've got are used too, but I've paid a lot more. This is by far the cheapest. $460 is what I got that for. As I said, it's a 50-inch deck. It's a 22 horsepower Kawasaki engine. I mean, the thing runs and cuts and does everything it needs to do. It needs a battery for sure. The battery won't hold a charge. I notice whenever I get off of it and then I go back to start it, it's dead. So I have had to jump it with my vehicle. But as I said, that's not a big issue. I'll just go get another battery for about $20 and be good to go. But the thing cuts great. I mean, the lawn looks great right now. I'm so happy with it. And what happened too this past winter, I do a lot of trading and stuff. Like when I don't need a tool or something like that, sometimes I'll trade it off if I don't need it right then and there for something I need more. And so what I did this past winter, I had a commercial bad boy mower. It was a 60-inch deck, fabricated deck, 26 horsepower, and I traded that off. And so I needed another mower this spring. And I didn't want anything either real expensive or anything. I just wanted something that get the job done, because I don't do lawn care anymore as far as for a business. But we have about 2.5 acres here, and that will take care of it just fine, easily actually. But I also plan to do a lot of overgrown lawn videos with that mower there. And I do plan to put a little bit of money and work into that mower. But as long as it's running the way it is right now, I'll be happy. I mean, the thing cut great. And as I said, I plan to do a lot of overgrown mowing videos. When I used to work for a lawn care, before I started working for myself doing lawn care, I was on the farm crew, and that's all we did was big farms and stuff. I didn't really like doing residential, to where you're from house to house to house, and you're in the vehicle, now the vehicle, in the vehicle, out of the vehicle, 20 yards a day maybe or so sometimes. So I never did like that. I like being at a location and mowing and just enjoying it. Mowing is so enjoyable to me. I love mowing every bit as much as I do firewood probably. I like mowing more than I do landscaping. I enjoy landscaping, but I love mowing. I mean, I started mowing when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Push mowing when I was probably 8 or so. 9 years old, my papa had me on a riding mower, and he would stand out there and tell me where to go on it. I think it was an old Lowe's mower. I can't remember the brand on it. Maybe it just said Lowe's on it if I'm not mistaken, a blue mower. I was about 9 years old, and he would stand out there and let me do that, and I loved it. And even push mowing, I love it. Just seeing that grass cut, and seeing what it looks like when you're done is very enjoyable. And then the process of just doing it is very enjoyable. I sit there and get lost in thought, and I look around, and just the smell of the fresh cut grass too. I love that. Feeling the air on your face, fresh air, everything about it. You see so much wildlife while you're out there. I really enjoy mowing, and I always have. Still do to this day, and I probably always will, to be honest with you. I really love mowing. And so having a good mower means a whole lot to me. And those Cub Cadets are good mowers. And let me tell you, I've had $6,000 mowers. I've had X-Marks. And that bad boy was a $6,000 mower as well, if I'm not mistaken. Those mowers, like that X-Mark, you couldn't tell a big difference from that and one of those Cub Cadets right there. And the Cub Cadets, you buy them new, are probably about $3,200. And that is a lot of money. $3,200 is still a lot of money. But I'm telling you right now, if you've got a big property, and you do it with a regular riding mower, at a zero turn like that, you learn how to drive one, it would literally cut your time in half, at least, I would say. I would say at least in half. I know I did this yard right here before, and it took me about 3.5 hours with a regular mower, if I'm not mistaken. And now with a zero turn, I can do this whole yard in probably an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. So it cuts your time way down. You don't have to put it in reverse and all that. All you got to do is grab the handles and pull backwards. They turn on a dime, They've got some of them have big decks, like a 50-inch deck. It makes a big difference from, a 32-inch deck or a 33-inch deck. It makes a big difference. So, and they're just really handy to have. I love zero-turn mowers. They do take some time to learn, and striping is something that takes time to learn as well. as I said, when I used to work for that lawn care to where we did big farms and stuff like that, when I started working there, I didn't even know how to drive a zero turn. And then after a while, those guys, they taught me so much, and they taught me how to stripe and everything. We did commercial properties, you know, they wanted those properties to look good. So we had to do a good job with them. And when I started out, I weed eat for probably the first 6 months or something like that. 4 to 6 months, I was mainly just weed eating. Every now and then they put me on a walk behind mower, a big commercial walk behind mower every now and then. But then our crew leader ended up quitting, and they put me on his mower, which was a 72-inch Skag, a big mower. And from then on, I kind of just took that his spot, and that was my mower to use, and I learned a whole lot. I got good at striping, and now I love it. I mean, stripes do look good. And what you want to do if you don't know how to stripe, later on I plan to make a video on that. But as you see, there's light and dark stripes. You always want to, it's an easy way to remember it, just always follow the light. You don't want to drive on your dark stripes because the light is what's going away from you. And what it is it's just the mower bending the blades of grass in a certain direction. And the light reflecting off of it causes that light and dark color. So when the grass is bent away from you, it's light. When it's bent towards you, it's a dark stripe. And that's why you go straight back and forth and you contrast those, and it makes the lawn very beautiful. I mean, stripes are they're very enjoyable to do, and they're very enjoyable to look at to me. So I really enjoy striping lawns. But as I said, when I worked for him, we did a lot of, one of the guys that we did, he was a billionaire here in Kentucky, literally a billionaire. Something Hughes, I can't remember. I don't think I ever even met him, but we did his farm for him. It was a Derby horse farm, and over 1,400 acres, I believe, called Spendthrift. And that they bred Derby horses there and stuff. The stallion barn that we weeded around, it was like a $1 million barn or something, you know. So it was a nice place, and they wanted you to take very good care of it. So they really like for you to stripe well. And now right here on this part of my lawn here, the stripes were really showing up good because the light was shining on that area more than it was on that other area that it showed earlier. The bad thing about it is my phone, I think, either died or ran out of memory right here on this part. So I had to go back and delete some stuff. Or maybe it just died on me. So I didn't get to even show this, and the stripes are striping so well right here, as you see. And you can put striping kits on these mowers, or you can make them yourself with PVC pipe that you just drag and fill it with sand and drag it behind your mower. So I got Carter at the end there to record these stripes here, and that way I could show a shot of them. But this coming to the end of this video, I'm very happy with this mower. As I said, I got it for $460. I'm very happy with it, and plan to use it many, many times in the future for myself and for videos to come. Thanks for watching. Be safe, and God bless. What are you doing? Look at that little baby.